Too late. Title: The Cyber Savior. Chapter 1. The Incident. It was a balmy summer evening when 19-year-old Jake Matthews revved up his motorbike, ready for a ride to the local convenience store. He was an adrenaline junkie, always seeking the next thrill. His red Kawasaki Ninja roared to life as he zipped through the streets of his small town, feeling the wind whip through his hair. As he sped down a narrow road, a glimmer of hope filled his eyes. He had just bought a lottery ticket earlier that day, hoping to change his life forever. Little did he know, his life was about to change in a way he could never have imagined. At an intersection, a truck barreled through a red light, its driver distracted by a blaring cell phone. Jake had no time to react. The truck collided with his bike, sending him flying through the air like a ragdoll. The impact was bone-crushing. He landed hard on the asphalt, consciousness fading as the world around him blurred. Chapter 2. The Transformation. Jake woke up in a sterile white room, the scent of antiseptic overwhelming his senses. His body felt heavy, unresponsive. He tried to move, but a searing pain shot through his limbs. Panic set in as he realized he couldn't feel his legs. "Easy there, kid," a voice said. A middle-aged doctor with kind eyes and a weary expression stood by his side. "You've been through a lot. You're lucky to be alive." Jake learned that his injuries were severe. His spine was shattered, his lungs collapsed, and his heart was damaged beyond repair. As he lay in the hospital bed, despair threatened to consume him. But then, a group of men in suits entered the room, accompanied by the doctor. "We have a proposition for you," the leader of the group said. "We represent a cutting-edge cybernetics company. We can give you a second chance, a new life, if you agree to become part of our experimental program." Desperation and curiosity mingled in Jake's mind. He had nothing left to lose. With a weak nod, he agreed. The next few weeks were a blur of surgeries and procedures. State-of-the-art technology was used to replace his shattered spine with a titanium alloy frame. His lungs were augmented with synthetic membranes capable of filtering air more efficiently than any human could. His heart was replaced with a powerful, self-regulating biomechanical pump. But the most significant transformation was in his brain. Microchips were implanted, designed to enhance cognitive functions and integrate with the cybernetic enhancements in his body. The process was excruciating, every nerve ending screaming in protest as machine fused with flesh. Chapter 3. The Awakening. When Jake finally woke up, he felt different. His senses were sharper, his mind clearer. He could process information at lightning speed, analyze complex problems with ease. But there was something else, a cold, calculating part of his mind that wasn't there before. "Welcome back, Jake," the doctor said, smiling. "You are now the most advanced cybernetic human on the planet. But with great power comes great responsibility." Jake spent months in the facility, learning to control his new abilities. He could interface with any electronic device, hack systems with a mere thought. His body was a weapon, equipped with retractable blades, energy shields, and advanced combat protocols. But something felt wrong. He noticed the scientists monitoring him closely, their expressions a mix of awe and fear. They were trying to control him, he realized, using his enhanced brain to further their own agendas. Chapter 4. The Revelation. One night, as he was linked to the mainframe for a routine data upload, Jake accessed a restricted file. What he discovered horrified him. The company planned to create an army of cybernetic humans, stripping away their humanity in the process. They saw him as the prototype, a tool for their ambition. Jake knew he had to act. Using his enhanced brain, he hacked into the company's systems, downloading all the data and erasing their research. He escaped the facility, evading security with his newfound agility and strength. Chapter 5. The Fight for Humanity. Out in the world again, Jake saw everything with new eyes. He realized the potential of his enhancements, not for control, but for liberation. He began to gather a group of like-minded individuals, those who believed in using technology to better humanity, not enslave it. Together, they fought against the shadowy corporation, exposing their plans to the public. The world was in turmoil, the revelation of cybernetic augmentation sparking debates and unrest. But Jake's group, now known as the Cyber Saviors, offered a different path. One where technology and humanity could coexist in harmony. Chapter 6. The Final Confrontation. The corporation struck back, unleashing their own cybernetic enforcers to eliminate Jake and his allies. The battles were fierce, each side wielding advanced technology in a deadly dance of survival. Jake's body, now a lethal arsenal, was put to the ultimate test. In the final showdown, Jake faced off against the corporation's leader, a ruthless cyborg named Draven. The fight was brutal, their enhanced bodies clashing with a fury that shook the ground. But Jake's humanity, his will to protect those he loved, gave him the edge. With a final, desperate move, he overpowered Draven, dismantling his systems and ending the threat. Chapter 7. A New Dawn. With the corporation defeated, Jake and his cyber saviors worked to heal the world. They helped others like him, those who had been augmented against their will, to reclaim their humanity. They advocated for ethical use of technology, ensuring that future advancements would benefit all of humanity. Jake stood on a hill overlooking the city, the setting sun casting a warm glow on the buildings. He was a hero, not because of his cybernetic enhancements, but because he had chosen to fight for what was right. As he looked at the world he had saved, he felt a sense of peace. Bloody hell, he muttered to himself, a smile tugging at his lips. No shit, Sherlock. His journey had been long and arduous, but it had led him to a place where he could make a real difference. And in the end, that was all he had ever wanted. Chapter 7. The Resistance. Jake had been running on adrenaline for weeks. Each day was a constant struggle to stay ahead of the corporation's enforcers and to unravel the tangled web of control they had woven. The cyber saviors had made significant strides, but the more they uncovered, the more Jake realized just how deep the conspiracy ran. One night, while linked to a secure network in a safe house, Jake felt an unsettling sensation. It started as a mild discomfort, a prickling at the base of his skull, and quickly escalated into a searing pain. His vision blurred, and his thoughts grew muddled. He knew what was happening. The corporation was trying to reclaim control of his brain. Panic threatened to take over, but Jake forced himself to focus. He had anticipated this move and had been preparing for it. With a Herculean effort, he accessed the implant interface in his mind, diving into the labyrinth of code that connected his brain to the corporation's systems. He found the source of the intrusion, a sophisticated algorithm designed to override his cognitive functions and reassert their control. The fight for his mind. The algorithm was relentless, its tentacles wrapping around his neural pathways, constricting his thoughts. Jake gritted his teeth, sweat pouring down his face as he countered each attack with his own mental defenses. It was a battle of wills, a test of endurance and intellect. In the midst of the struggle, Jake stumbled upon a hidden subroutine, a backdoor into the corporation's mainframe. Using this vulnerability, he accessed their deepest databases. Information flooded his mind, overwhelming in its scope. He saw the names of the augmented individuals, their addresses, their roles, high-ranking officials, corporate moguls, military leaders, all puppets of the corporation, their free will stripped away. Jake memorized everything, committing the critical details to his enhanced memory. The pain in his head intensified, but he couldn't stop now. He had to break free. With a final, desperate push, he overpowered the algorithm, severing its connection. The agony subsided, leaving him breathless and exhausted but triumphant. The revelation. Jake shared his discovery with the cyber saviors, his voice steady despite the turmoil in his mind. The corporation has infiltrated every level of power, he said, laying out the names and addresses. We need to free these people and expose the truth. The team was stunned but determined. They knew the risks were immense, but there was no turning back. Each member took on a specific target, planning their moves with precision. Jake's mission was the most dangerous. He had to confront the President of the United States, the most heavily guarded and influential figure on the list. The President. Jake infiltrated the White House under the cover of night, using his enhanced abilities to bypass security systems and evade detection. The President, John Harrington, was a formidable figure, his mind under the corporation's control but still sharp and calculating. Jake found him in the Oval Office, sitting at his desk, a blank expression on his face. Mr. President, Jake said softly, stepping into the room. Harrington's eyes focused on him, recognition and confusion mingling. Who are you? He demanded, his voice cold. I'm here to help you, Jake replied. You're being controlled by the corporation. They've turned you into their puppet. For a moment, Harrington seemed to struggle against the programming, his eyes flashing with something akin to fear. But then, the coldness returned. "You're a traitor," he said, reaching for a hidden alarm. Jake acted quickly, his reflexes enhanced by his cybernetic implants. He disabled the alarm and moved to the president's side, injecting him with a serum developed by the cyber saviors. It was designed to temporarily disable the microchips, giving the person the chance to regain their free will. Harrington gasped, his body convulsing as the serum took effect. Jake watched, hope and anxiety mixing in his chest. Slowly, the president's eyes cleared, the rigid lines of his face softening. What have they done to me?" he whispered, his voice filled with horror. The resistance grows. With the president on their side, the cyber saviors gained a powerful ally. Harrington used his influence to discreetly help them target the other augmented individuals. It was a perilous task, each mission fraught with danger and the constant threat of discovery. Jake and his team worked tirelessly, freeing minds one by one. They encountered fierce resistance, the corporation's enforcers relentless in their pursuit. But each victory brought them closer to their goal, their ranks swelling with those they had liberated. The final push. The final push came in the form of a coordinated strike against the corporation's main headquarters. The cyber saviors, along with their new allies, launched an all-out assault, using every resource at their disposal. The battle was fierce, the air filled with the sounds of gunfire and the clash of steel. Jake led the charge, his body a whirlwind of lethal efficiency. He fought with a singular purpose, his mind focused on the ultimate goal, freeing humanity from the corporation's grip. In the heart of the headquarters, Jake confronted Draven, the ruthless leader of the corporation. Their fight was brutal, a clash of titans, each move precise and deadly. Draven was formidable, his own enhancements making him a match for Jake. But Jake fought with a ferocity born of desperation and hope. With a final, devastating blow, Jake disabled Draven, severing his control over the augmented network. The corporation's grip on power was broken, their plans laid to waste. A new dawn. With the corporation defeated, Jake and the cyber saviors worked to heal the world. They helped others like him, those who had been augmented against their will, to reclaim their humanity. They advocated for ethical use of technology, ensuring that future advancements would benefit all of humanity. Jake stood on a hill overlooking the city, the setting sun casting a warm glow on the buildings. He was a hero, not because of his cybernetic enhancements, but because he had chosen to fight for what was right. As he looked at the world he had saved, he felt a sense of peace. Bloody hell, he muttered to himself, a smile tugging at his lips. No shit, Sherlock. His journey had been long and arduous, but it had led him to a place where he could make a real difference. And in the end, that was all he had ever wanted. And thus, the cyber savior stood watch, a guardian of humanity in a world forever changed by technology.